Nope.
You live, my
Just
friend.
we just be quiet.
You're a fucktard. I'm focused on something different. I'm not letting your bitch ass.
I'm reading the rulebook for the first time, so you know.
So yeah, very large air quotes around the respectable.
Mm-hmm.
Heyo.
It's because I'm awesome. Sure. I'm Maury. I am the Dames of Destiny community manager. I play a variety of games. I haven't played D&D in 15 years. So I'm relearning a whole bunch of stuff. So if I ask a lot of silly questions, please be nice.
Sure. Sure. So I'm Mortis Raptor. I am been playing D&D in various forms for the better part of almost 20 years at this point. What the hell should I say? My mailing address and social security numbers are no. Really looking forward to this. This is it's always a nice a nice experience getting to get into a new party, have some fun. I've got some hijinks aplenty planned, and looking forward to really seeing where the story ends up going here. From Safe Gamer's side, that's what I was forgetting to say. Yeah, I'm one of the mentor admins for Safe Gamers on the PS4 side. Don't get the chance to play too much in the way of games as of late, but very excited for this. Case in point, Hawaii.
Did you press the button? Was that you?
Or may not have been there for business last week.
I'd do it. All right. I am Sylvar Loki, more commonly just go by Loki. I am the head mentor admin for Safe Gamers, also semi recently officially a part of the senior leadership for Safe Gamers, which means I'm one of the 4 people at the top with our clan leader Smurf, who make most of the behind the scenes stuff that is serious but doesn't quite need a full admin team attention, or the Illuminati, as we like to refer to a certain group of individuals. Um, the uh, I've also been one of the driving forces behind the Safe Gamers Alliance, which is a group of communities who all share the same kind of ideal of a safe, respectful gaming environment. Let's discount this. This is more of a personal thing. This has nothing to reflect on safe gamers, so everything that I will say to X, this is all personal. None of it is involving the clan. I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. 15 years of friendship will ruin people. I promise that. The Alliance is comprised of Safe Gamers, the Dames of Destiny, the Omnic Lab podcast, which is a competitive Overwatch community focused on the strategy and changes that happen in the game in Blizzard's game of Overwatch. Valen's Choice, which is a Hearthstone podcast focusing on a similar idea of the changes of strategy and changes of gameplay as Hearthstone continues to evolve and we get new cards there. Focus Fire Chat, which is a lore community for all things gaming lore. They cover everything from World of Warcraft to Dungeons and Dragons to Destiny, where they were originally founded, through Overwatch, Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy, you name it. They probably have a lore room to talk about it. One of the more entertaining ones recently was going over the lore of the Marvel and DC universes in back-to-back months. Those discussions were interesting, to say the least. Shut up, you Marvel-biased pig. Wait, what am I saying? Marvel is better. So, that aside, that is me. On a personal note, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons about as long as Mortis. I'd say I'm at about 16, 17 years, give or take. My father taught me to play D&D under the old AD&D rule set for 1.0. He also taught me 2.0. And then when I was in high school, I met this dick fuck known as X and started playing 3.0. Was that pre 3.5 or did we just start with 3.0 and not even? Yeah, we just didn't realize 3.5 was a thing yet. I forgot how all that went down. Or my timeline gets all kinds of screwed up. But the love of D&D spread into other tabletop games. My dad also taught me Warhammer 40K. A good friend of mine taught me the White Wolf D10 dot system for the World of Darkness, and I've just kind of explored elsewhere on my own. Bitch, we're gonna wrap up these introductions in a goddamn hurry.
Well, that's reassuring.
Okay,
before-
I'm gonna
before
point
that,
out the level 3 thing is a change because at one point, when we were still doing 3.5, it was level 7. When we first started Pathfinder, it became level 5. Now it's level 3. Okay, I see how it is. When are we gonna get an Elder Dragon thrown at us at level 1?
Stepping up.
Okay, wanted to make sure.
Sounds good.
If you
Cool.
said a little
That's
bit.
fine by me.
Well, it's a
Because
basement.
Because
basement.
it's a
It's
basement.
also the winter.
X, you live in Nebraska. It's the middle of goddamn winter. The hell do you think is gonna happen?
And I know back down in Florida, they had another hard freeze all throughout the I-10 corridor over the last day.
Oh my god, a hard freeze. Sorry, I.
Well, no, it's like to the point that I-10 is closed off. Yeah, doesn't affect me, but thought it was interesting.
Can I point out negative 30-degree wind chill?
Mm-hmm. Yup.
I attempt to, yes.
More steal, and sneak away. But yes,
Stabby as a backup. Sure. We'll go with that. Mm-hmm. Yep. I used Roll20 before quite a bit.
I am probably sitting there with a cup of tea and the ledgers for my family's business because the reason I'm on this train is we're transporting goods. My family, they're a bunch of traders. They have like we have like pockets of our family. Like I have cousins and aunts and uncles in every city across the land. So where I'm transporting a set of goods, and this is gonna be my first trip alone, which is why I went all out to get those first class tickets. So I'm trying to look at the ledgers and I'm just distracted by the landscape because I'm on my own for the first time. It's exciting and I'm ready to be on this adventure. Damn peasants.
I'm gonna start wandering around, seeing what everyone's doing. I avoid the orcs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm wearing kind of a long, standing up, swirling cloak of deep crimson. Um, uh, Sitting in my seat with my trusty companion Toby, my beloved, who is I'm currently preening. And as I sit there preening Tony, I'm kind of back and forth, looking around the coach, looking for any other passengers that look suspicious or kind of concerned with any would-be assassins. I will very casually saunter over to towards the guards guarding the way into first class and try and go through kind of a long, kind of elaborate elaborate motion of looking through my robes for my ticket before finally pulling out my, since I'm riding in coach, hand it over to him. Sir, Ah, yes, but of course, but of course. It was that other gentleman who just walked through those doors. He seemed to be a bit out of place, and yet he apparently had no trouble making it through your very dutiful checkpoint here. Do you not find it suspicious that a man dressed as colorfully as he would be in possession of such a high value piece of property? I thank you for your dutiful service and I bid you both a most pleasant day and safe travels. I return back to my seat.
I'm going to look for an open window. And then I check to see if the way is clear. If no one is paying me any heed, I decide to worm my way to the open window and climb out to climb along the side of the car. I stick my head back in the window and I go stand near the front of the car and observe the guards sitting back down.
So I start hurriedly packing up the ledger, any like loose leaf sheets of paper that I had out that had all of the goods. I start packing them up into my bag and head out into the hallway.
Mhm. Hmm.
It
We're on a
overlooks
train.
that I never unmuted Discord OBS.
Like, no. Aw.
Nobody has been able to listen to this for the past 10 minutes.
That's okay. I wanted to have Toby, like, or to say that Toby ate the chicken. Like, try the whole the dog ate my homework bit.
Okay, well. For anyone who has been paying attention to this stream, technical difficulties. This is going up on YouTube, so you'll be able to hear exactly what we've said. Yes, I have not streamed for, I want to say about a month now. So excuse me for making a minor mistake. Sanders, you couldn't have told me this like 5 minutes ago, you fucker.
Hey, your dinner's ready.
So anyway, quick recap. Everyone's on a train. They've just hit their destination. And yeah, this is a train wreck. I'll be right back, folks.
See, now we have to figure out, why does Loki hate orcs? What is that mystery? What is the backstory?
Mortis should be able to see because he's in the same part.
I'm just like doing the business person thing, just kind of hanging out, not really causing trouble. Thinking for a hot minute, hobo guy was gonna attack me. Yeah, he might still.
My what now?
Hobo guy.
Ah. So yeah, that's embarrassing. So worried about everything. Trying to make sure it's all good, and then
Nope.
yeah, shut your face.
Can I ask a general D&D question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Short little break while the train is about to crash. When we're purchasing like armor and weapons and gear and stuff, what is the ratio of like how many weapons should I choose? What armor would be the best for my class and like what random other crap are people bringing with? And you don't have to be specific about what your character is doing. I just like in general.
Yeah, it's coming from the woman that bought a portable bathtub.
I did.
It's all relatively for my rogue, I've got more utilitarian gear with a few weapons and minimal armor. If I was running a fighter character, I would have very few pieces of utilitarian stuff, and I would be decked out with all the weapons and armor that I could possibly need. Preferably weapons.
If you're running a monk, the Pathfinder monk, I was under the impression was more geared towards unarmed combat.
Yes. Very heavily geared.
Yeah. So you would, in that case, you actually probably would want, I mean, you'd want some weapons as a, so to speak, but your fists are going to be kind of your primary
Okay.
punchy weapon.
Okay. So,
You-
like,
you-
things like brass knuckles would help?
Like a cestus, dueling gloves, things like that that give you a small boost to your unarmed combat. Gear that is going to boost your strength and your dexterity, for making it easier to hit and to be able to hit harder. And then focusing a little bit more on trying to pick up a lot of to be utilitarian things for different situations. Try to be as adaptable as you can, I guess.
Like rope, crowbars, chains, poison, ways to incapacitate your party and enemies.
Sounds good.
Why would you need to incapacitate your party?
Listen, man, you're a part of it,
I have
so
to ask the question.
yeah, if you have to ask, you don't need to worry about it.
No, yeah, I imagine because I believe I'm well aware how many shenanigans have I pulled in our parties.
And you never know. This could be foreshadowing. This could just be me being dick, but there could come a time when one of you has to make a decision. Do I want to save my own skin and get rid of one of these two, or do I want to try to fight this out with the party? But we'll find out, shall we? So, quick recap. Nothing important happened while I was stupid and forgot to unmute the audio for OBS. But our party here has made their way to their destination. Mori is the only one that had a first class ticket. So, we already know who the rich one is. Loki was just a little thing for what he would be doing is he was going to climb out of the train they were in while it was still moving and climb along the side of it to get into another passenger's room. Mortis is the polite one.
I never said I was trying to get into another path.
I know how you operate, though. You were going to try to get somewhere that you shouldn't be.
Get somewhere I shouldn't have been, yes. Get into somewhere. Probably not.
Okay, so. Now then. Since Mori is in first class, they all have a closer and less crowded exit when the train has finally made its final proceedings into town. It is now docked. Everyone is told, you're free to go. Please exit the train in an orderly fashion. Mortis. As you exit, I need you to roll me a perception check.
Perception. Yes.
Okay, we'll get to that in just one moment. Okay. Mori, do me a favor. Say something in normal speaking volume.
Hi, my name is Mori. I'm attempting to be a monk, and probably failing. Horribly. But I have a bathtub.
Mortis.
Hmm?
Say something for me.
Okay. I am Mortis. Very beloved canary. And what's going on? And I'm at the moment.
Alright, Loki, say something.
Now go fuck off, jackass.
Okay, wow, he's loud as fuck.
Yeah, fix that in Discord.
I did. Okay. Sanders, let me know how they sound now. Okay. Mortis with a 22.
Woo!
I was hoping you'd actually get a little lower than that. Okay, so Mortis, as you start exiting the train, you notice something very, very strange about most everyone around you. From people that are already in the town and some of the people exiting the train. They're all slightly transparent. And a few of them look like they are actually just walking skeletons. You can tell that the man who was with you in coach and stuck his head out the window looks pretty normal. And a few of the first class members also look normal as well. You're all on the... Go ahead.
Do see the man who was wearing the burlap sack and rope. Do I see him around anywhere?
You notice, after looking around a little bit, that everyone just kind of looks normal again, but you can still tell something's off. And you do see Burlap Sack. He's wandered off towards the town itself.
I'm going to attempt to him at a respectable distance.
Alrighty.
With the small words to Toby, we'll send him to perform. Just to kind of get an idea on where he's going as I'm following him.
Okay. Well, I'll let you stalk this Burlap Sack man for a moment. Loki's muted, so fuck him for a second. Maury, you just exited the train.
No, I'm just muted so that I can actually talk things through as I'm looking at everything.
Ah, okay. Well, nonetheless, Maury, you are, as you exit the train, you notice you've met them before, so you know what magic users look like. You notice one of them has sent his familiar off and is, you assume, either looking for something or following someone. What would you like to do?
What color is Toby? Is it just canary yellow? Is he just...
Not quite. Not quite. He's a... He is a canary yellow canary. However, kind of the tips of his feathers and kind of speckled throughout a lot of his plumage, there are streaks of feathers as well. And his eyes have kind of a slightly red tint.
So he's a demon bird. Great.
Looks completely like a completely normal canary yellow canary.
So my eyes follow the canary for a little bit, and I start walking to the back of the train where the cargo holds are, so I can grab some porters to start hauling my family's cargo to my uncle's shop. And the cargo that I brought with me are 24 portable bathtubs of the highest quality. think I broke X. I'm sorry. So I start walking back, and I'm carrying with me what looks like a quarterstaff, except it's not as long as a quarterstaff. It's probably like to my shoulder height, so about 4.5 feet. And I use that to sort of get the riffraff out of the way while I'm walking towards the cargo hold of the train. And I start, after I was distracted by this bright yellow bird in the sea of white marble that's around us, I start looking for some porters or some little kids that are always hanging around that can tell me who the best folks are to carry the goods to my uncle's shop.
Well, you and your portable bathtubs.
24 of the highest quality.
24 portable bathtubs. Oh my fucking god. Anyway. So there are no, just kids.
There's no street urchins in this town?
They're not in this area.
Man. Then, are any of the train guards nearby?
You actually see men that are actually working to unload the train as you look for street urchins.
Okay. The porters are available. I'm gonna go try and find the foreman or the guy who looks to be in charge of the porters.
He is a little hard to miss because he is a gnome. Even for his race, he is very small. But he does have on a bright, and I mean bright, pink jacket.
Yes.
That on the side of it has an embroidered patch that does say Foreman. And he is barking out orders to orcs, elves, and humans alike, telling them, no, put that there, no, move quicker, no, do this, blah, blah, blah. He sees you approach. And he quickly gives you a once-over, looks back to his men, then looks back at you. What can I do for you?
Good afternoon, good sir. I was hoping that I could hire some of your men to take my cargo for me to a shop just down the way.
Did you set this up before you got on the train?
No, I was told there'd be plenty of hard-working men available when I got here.
Okay, lassie, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will spare you 2 of my finest orcs, but it will cost you.
Which would it cost me to get to Han's shop down the street?
Oh, you're with Han. I will spare you 3 of my orcs, not 3 dozen, 3 of them, free of charge. Do give him my regards. As he speaks and you mention your uncle, you can notice that his demeanor just changes. He goes from this man that, inspires fear and respect and loyalty from even the most brooding of the orcs around, to terrified.
I wouldn't say I was taken aback by the terror, the recognition, because I'm used to traveling with my family, and anywhere we go, people know of my family because they're big traders. I thank him. I'm like, thank you. Be very polite. I'm like, are you sure that I can't pay you or these men for this service? I mean, you're very busy here.
He kind of waves his hand as in, trying to gesture that's no problem at all and still keep his composure around his men. And he tells you, no, free of charge. Anything that goes to Han benefits the entire town. So no, please, just take it. Take whichever orcs you like and just go. It'll be fine.
Out of character, I'm saying this. I'm debating whether or not I should play saucy or if I should try to be like more pure at heart. Are there any half-orcs among the group? Is it just orcs that are doing the loading and the unloading of the train?
You see a few half-orcs.
I'm gonna pick 3 of the half-orcs.
All right. Jesus, I'm going to adjust that. Sorry, talking to myself. As you approach them, you know, they've all heard what the foreman is saying because he's a very loud person. And they all just kind of look at you and like, you're going to Han's shop, right?
Yeah.
Which one of these are yours?
They're going to be 2 large wooden crates, maybe 2 by 2 by 3, and they're going to have the swan symbol on them. So on Roll20, my character symbol, where it's the circular swan disc, that's the emblem of my family's business.
All right. Well, lucky for you, yours was one of the last things to get loaded back in before you got on the train. And it was one of the first things offloaded. It is set to the side. The men all walk over, each take one corner, lift up, and one of them kind of gestures for you to lead the way of where they're going.
All right. I pull out a map. And I start like trying to orient where I think we are to where my uncle's shop's supposed to be. I was told I hadn't been to this town since I was a child, so it's been about 25 years, and I was told it was about a 5-minute-ish walk, and I had to go left, right, and then the second right after that. So I'm trying to figure out where we are.
Okay, well, thankfully, one of the men who's lived in this town his entire life points on the map and shows you exactly where you're at.
I thank him, and I'm like, would you mind walking with me next to me so we can make sure we don't get lost together?
He nods and then does a courteous bow to, you know, obviously meaning ladies first. He doesn't speak. But, you know, he is more than willing to walk alongside you. Anyway, now as you're heading to the shop, Loki, your buddy in the coach section with his canary has walked off, and you can see that his bird is obviously flying above, and you did notice as he left that the burlap sack man in first class was also walking in that same direction.
I double checked my ticket to confirm my departure point. And if I am not at the correct spot, I check for the guard's attention.
No, you're fine. This is the only really departure area for this train. From here, yeah. Well, from here, basically, just to give our viewers also a brief description of the area. There are several.
To make a map.
I'm not even gonna fuck with Roll20 at this second. There is basically. This area is kind of a little hub where the train is docked and everyone's getting off and all that, and it's getting ready to depart once more, actually. But there are gated areas in case of invasion. You know, they will be closed off to prevent people from getting in here, further into town. But really, there's nothing telling you can't go here or go here or go here, except for one area where you see all of the guards walking off to is very heavily guarded, and each one is stopping and getting their creds basically checked as they're moving deeper into the city. But for the civilians, you guys have free roam of the city. If you can't go somewhere, a guard will tell you.
I worm my way into the crowd, blending in as best as I can, and walk in the mass of them, collecting my small backpack along the way, keeping my eye on Burlap Sackman towards the head of the line.
All right. Well, then that basically means you and Mortis are going to the same area, which is very nice. It means I have less to actually worry about with you two.
You think that?
Abort!
Thankfully, the only one I don't have to worry too much about is Mori, because I know where she's going.
With 24 of the finest portable bathtubs, good sir.
Yes, I forgot. Mori has 24 of the finest bathtubs, portable bathtubs.
Just my mental picture of just the train of lugging these things through town is just.
And I'm totally like walking up front, like twirling my staff, just like acting like, of course I belong here. Look at these guys that are carrying my stuff for me. I'm like the hottest shit since sliced bread, you know. Like just trying to play it off like I'm really cool and belong there, even though like inside like I'm super nervous. Like this is a new place. I really don't know where I'm going. So I'm trying to play it off cool, but I'm nervous and on guard.
Well, Mori, you don't have to worry whatsoever. Last little bit for her before I do move on to my other characters is that as people are noticing the crest on the boxes, because they are facing directly ahead of you, or facing where you're actually walking. As people notice that crest, they're making a path, like they are just moving the fuck out the way.
I'm thinking it's a little weird, but then I'm twirling my staff, so I'm also thinking, well, maybe they just don't want to get hit in the face.
Yeah. So anyway, Mortis and Loki. The Burlap Sack Man is not really drawing attention for some strange reason. You're just kind of walking, and you guys are basically following him for about 10 minutes or so before he comes to a shop. Now, on the front door of the shop, it is obviously, you don't have to worry about that. It's open, but you can see on the window near it, there is a very nice circular swan just on the window. And you do notice that 3 half-orcs and somebody who is trying to play it cool and act like she belongs have entered this area, and behind it there is a very large man who looks like he has probably spent the better part of his life adventuring behind the counter, telling people, the 3 half-orcs, where to put that box and to be careful. If they break anything, he'll break them. And the Burlap Sack Man walks in there like, I own this place. Who cares? What would you guys like to do?
Is there a well-shadowed alley nearby?
Damn it, that was the exact question I was about to ask.
Yes.
Stealth roll. I'm gonna go hide in the alley and keep an eye on the shop.
Okay. Well. Yeah, he's fucked. So yeah, you're hidden.
Is there another shadowed alley nearby the shop?
Oh yeah. Well, I know Loki wants to keep an eye on the shop, so he's probably taking the one that is directly across from the shop, giving him the best vantage point to watch the shop, and then there are obviously, the ones around the shop.
I'm going to continue past the shop a little bit. We're not my actual destination. Dip into... Actually... Did I notice the character that was following me as I was following the Sackman?
Usually I'd say tell you to roll perception, but since it was a very large crowd, no. Not to mention you are still kind of distracted that everyone looks kind of transparent and there are skeletons walking around and no one's acting like this is a problem.
Okay. But so during those 10 minutes, I never noticed that someone was following.
No, it looked like a lot of people are just kind of, they're all walking in what seems like the same direction. Granted, people have split off, and then, others have joined the crowd. This is actually one of the more popular shops in town, so there is a lot of foot traffic going to and from this area.
Okay. Okay. I am also going to find another alley to crouch in and.
So basically, you're gonna make an impromptu stealth check.
Yep.
Okay, roll it for me, please. How the?
Nice.
Okay, time right the hell out. How does the non-rogue get a better stealth check than our rogue?
Because my roll really wasn't that good. The 21 was only from a
Bonuses.
what is that, 15? Yeah. I didn't roll that well. So give me a good roll and I'm pretty sure no one's touching it in the
Okay.
party.
So basically,
Nope.
Mortis has popped out of existence.
I'm actually hiding in the same alley that Loki is.
Hey, you could be at this point. But Mori, as you are, obviously conversing with your uncle, your 24 portable bathtubs have now arrived. You're conversing with him. He's behind the counter, and in the middle of your conversation, like he is talking to you, he just stops, stares directly out the window towards the alleyway, reaches under the counter, basically grabbing a dagger. Just kind of has his hand sitting right there. And then goes back to talking to you like nothing has changed in the past 10 seconds at all.
Can I roll? How would I roll perception to see if I notice what he's looking at?
You just roll a perception check.
Okay, how do I do that in D20? That's more of a general.
Okay. On your character sheet, you will see where the skill is listed in perception. Okay. Basically, this is going to be a little tutorial for everyone watching at home.
Let me be the noob on your behalf. So do I just click the perception button?
Do. You'll do this. So yeah, you'll just click it, and then boom, there's your roll.
All right, I'm gonna roll myself, cause
Okay.
see how that goes. Haha, I did better.
Well, you know where Loki is.
So I notice somebody sulking in the shadows in the alleyway, and because I grew up in a family of merchants, that's never good when somebody's sulking in the shadows. So I start to untwist what looked like a quarterstaff before, and just keep talking to my uncle.
Okay, as you do, he actually kind of, re-glances out the window because the roll that I made him grab the dagger, he did not actually break either one of your DCs, guys. He just got a strange feeling that he was being watched, assuming it's coming from the alleyway. Yeah, no, you still don't see shit. This man's old.
So because I saw something, and like merchant families generally have like a code, or a set of code words that they can speak to each other in times of trouble, so people won't pick up what they're putting down. So I tell my uncle, I think I'm going to go grab some tea from the crates in the back. I'll be right. I'll make us some tea. So I walk behind the counter and then out the back door of the shop, so I can try to double around to the alleyway.
Alrighty. Well, as all that is happening, Mortis, I need you to make me a reflex save.
Reflex save, you said?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you made the reflex, but in doing so, you have sadly revealed yourself to everyone around. But as you are watching the shop, just something tells you you need to move. So you nimbly dodge. You kind of tuck, roll, and then stand right back up near the front of the alleyway, the entrance to the alleyway, not quite in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, you notice a very, very large sword drop exactly where you were sitting.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I'll send it.
Wait. Oh.
Okay, we can hear you. Do I notice this sword, or is it because I'm on the other side of the shop I wouldn't see this happen?
You are actually about halfway to being able to double back into the other end of the alleyway, so you still don't notice it.
Okay.
I immediately look around, primarily upwards, trying to see if I can figures or creatures or anywhere that might have been a probable source of dropping a giant sword.
As you look up, you actually don't even need to check for... No, you don't need that. There is a portal that is now closing above where you were, that you will probably end up piecing together that the sword came out of that sumbitch.
Over at Toby, just look up and I say, "Only one. I'm not the only one who saw that."
Toby chirps and then nods. Loki, roll a perception check, or not a perception, reflex save.
Oh, bloody hell. Ah, failed.
Oh.
Dead rogue.
No, not dead. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So, you did not make the reflex, sadly. But, thanks to you knowing that a giant sword has dropped out of the sky and nearly killed the person that was hiding with you, you're a little more on guard. You do, however, since you are primarily looking up, assuming someone's going to drop on your head, do not witness from across the alley, from across the street, I should say, that a fist-sized rock has been thrown from the front door of the shop into the alleyway. You do take 1 point of damage. And you have a very, very, very sore arm now. Unless you're wearing plate armor, which I'm assuming you're not since you're a rogue.
Chain.
Yeah, so 1 point of damage. And roll a stealth check to see if you're still hiding. From, well, Mortis.
Do you mean to roll an opposing perception?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Well, crap.
Jesus, Mortis.
Oh well.
How far away is he from me?
Oh, the alley. Well, since you're at the front of it, I'd say about 5-6 feet. By the way, Maury, you're not the back end of the alley. Roll a perception for me.
All right. Hi, friends. I can see you.
Fucking everyone sees Tony. What the shit?
His nerves are still a little bit
Words
shaken up from
grow.
our. Oh.
You know,
Well,
I don't think it's that we can see
mean.
him necessarily. I think it's we can smell him from the
Oh.
the mass of people that he was walking around with in the
Us-
train.
Back in coach.
Mm-hmm. Those plebs.
Ah, it smells like peasant in here.
Well, upon noticing her suddenly appear out of the shadows in the alleyway, presumably having seen the rock being thrown as well.
Oh yeah, you saw the rock and you know exactly who threw it. The man with the burlap sack, no longer wearing a burlap sack, mind you, is standing in the doorway in very fine clothing. Clothing that would only be accessible to royalty. Or, I should say, rich people, because they're treated like royalty. Bill Gates. Anyway, is standing in the doorway to the shop, holding another rock, watching Loki and Mortis. Maury, he pays you no mind because he can't see that far down the alleyway. Nor is he expecting you to be there. He smiles, looks directly at you and your canary there, Mortis, and says, "Why don't you all come back inside instead of just stalking me from the shadows like some would-be assassins?"
I look over at the other figure who was hiding there in the shadows with me, and I let one of my arms kind of casually, but slightly intimidating fashion, kind of gently go towards my belt, and gesture to the other figure standing there in the alley and say, "Well, you heard the man. After you."
I'm going to slip further back into the shadows to better utilize my low light vision.
Well, suit yourself. Walk in towards the shop. And, my shoulder watching behind me.
Alrighty. Mori, you've heard the exchange. What would you like to do?
Do I have? I think I do. I can still see Loki. So what I'm gonna do is take one of my katanas and start scratching it against the wall, so he knows where I am as I'm walking up behind them, to try to herd them out into the main street in front of the shop.
All right, Loki, what are you going to do about that? And by that, I mean Mori, not the comment that I made in the chat.
I am going to
Oh,
reach down. Yeah, click the button earlier. I'm going to reach down and grab the dagger that is hidden inside of my boot as I wait and listen to the sounds drawing closer.
I heard a roll. I don't know what that roll means.
No, don't worry about it.
He's doing it all behind the scenes. That way, even the stream can't see it, which is kind of unfair.
Oh, don't worry. He didn't fucking see shit. Like, he knows what Mori is now. But she is also...
I'm not
making
trying
her-
to be stealthy. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be out in the open.
He knows where you are. There's actually a roll to see if he could respot you, Loki, and he did not make it, don't worry.
I'm gonna see if I can't spot Loki. I don't
Go
think
right
I'd be able
ahead.
to beat a 25. And before I roll this, if I fail this roll, I'm just gonna walk up to where I last saw him and then like stab the ground with one of my katanas. Nope, can't see shit or smell it either. So I'm just gonna walk up to where he was, or where I last saw him, and stab down with the katana.
All right.
I don't know if you moved. I don't know if you're still there. So if I stab you, let me know if I need to roll damage.
Yeah, I moved further back into the shadows.
You actually walk right past him, somehow not catching the smell of peasant.
It's a very dirty alley. Let's be honest.
And you have made contact with solid ground.
All right.
That was a dice falling, not a roll, so ignore that.
Sure.
No, don't worry. If I was rolling for something, I'd tell you. Okay.
I think I'm gonna stand there and watch the man in the fine clothes and the man with the canary.
All right, well, Mortis,
Mm-hmm.
you have now entered the shop. The man with the fine clothes is staring directly at Mori. And then kind of also glancing around, trying to see where the other hooligan went. And gives up on that rather quickly. Gestures at Mori for her to come back into the shop, turns around, walks right back up to the counter, and then jumps up on it and just kind of sits there.
Is my uncle still in the room?
Oh, yeah.
Or okay. I think I kind of look to him to see if he like waves me inside or if he tells me to stay back.
Oh, yeah, he waves inside.
Okay. All right, then I put my two katanas back together, twist them, and then start twirling my quarterstaff and walk inside.
Smack the peasants.
The dirty rabble.
The street urchins. Speaking of which, never mind. Mori, a street urchin, does try to make a very, very poor attempt at pickpocketing you, but as he reaches up to snag your coin purse, he actually trips and gives his hand just goes out and grabs the first thing that it can to try and balance himself. Sadly, it is a child, so he now has a fist full of your butt.
I take my quarterstaff and I like hit him in the stomach and like lift him up.
Oh, this poor child.
It's not my fault he pickpocketed.
Had a rough
It's his
day.
parents' fault. And I just tell him to go home. I set him down and then I smack him in the butt with his or with my quarterstaff.
I thought you were gonna use like his leg or some shit. I was gonna say that's mean, but roll it anyway.
I told him to go home.
You,
I'm a half breed. Get over it.
yeah, but he has no parents, Maury. You just assaulted the next Batman. How do you feel anyway?
Y'all assumed I had parents. Don't make them assumptions. I do. They're lovely people.
Well, you at some point you had parents.
Well, so did he.
How do you know?
He's not Jesus. Well, okay, I guess that could be an assumption. But I smack him on the butt. I tell him to go home.
As you smack him on the butt, you can actually see tears in his eyes as he just books it down the street.
Good. He won't live a life of crime.
If he lives any life at all. Anyway.
Do I have to roll damage on the child?
No! If I thought you were actually trying to kill this child, then yes, but no.
I was just discipline.
Yeah, by lifting him with your quarterstaff. Anyway. Loki, are you just gonna chill in the shadows?
I'm going to observe the exchange between them.
Okay, well. Maury, as you enter the shop, you can actually see something you are not used to seeing whatsoever from your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually looks afraid.
Wait, did you say
sitting on his
Maury
chair.
or
I said
Mort?
Maury.
Ah.
I'm gonna go stand next to him so I can keep an eye on Canary Man and Fancy Clothes Man.
Okay, well, as you walk behind the counter, you actually see your uncle's white knuckling that dagger under the counter. And Fancy Man, once again, looks back out the door. Decides the would-be assassin, quotation marks, is not worth his time at the moment. Looks directly at you, Mortis, and asks, "How much have you seen?"
Sorry. So you said Mortis?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I kind of cut there for a second. Scene. Is there something in particular that you would be caring about, or are we talking about how lovely the weather is today?
He chuckles. No. I am fairly certain you know exactly what I mean. What have you seen?
Well, this is only this rather interesting city, so I cannot say for certain, but the people around here do seem a bit on the thin side.
I'm glad that you've caught that. I'm assuming you... Maury, what is your family's last name?
How?
Okay. I'm assuming you, Miss Howe, have not noticed anything out of the ordinary here, have you?
I just kind of look confused.
I'll take that as a no. 1 second, folks. I am noticing something that I'm going to attempt to fix. Okay. Sorry. While trying not to yell, I also noticed that I'm cutting out a lot in this voice. Okay, so anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure this gentleman here will fill you in if need be. Or your uncle would, if he could find the courage to speak in my presence. So I'm assuming the one out in the alleyway, is that a friend of yours, or...
You're kind of cutting out a little bit there, Tom.
Yeah, I noticed. Hold on. Be prepared for loud noises. Anyway, so is the one out in the alleyway a friend of yours, or not?
Is he speaking to me?
All of you. Well, except Loki, who's not even in the shop.
Well, I saw him come into town on the same train as myself, but I don't know much of him myself. Doesn't seem much of the chatty type, for what it's worth.
All I know is that he smells bad and seems to have ran once I started walking around.
Loki, are you... you're just gonna chill in the alleyway until we're done.
Pretty much.
Okay, so...
Trying to avoid the attention of people.
I don't blame you. Okay, so... Well... You know what they do say. Loose lips sink ships and all that good... Well, it's nonsense, really. Ships sink due to holes, unforeseen accidents, the Howe family when need be.
I give him a look, like, the hell are you talking about?
Oh, come now, dear. We'll discuss that later. So, what I am going to need from you, summoner, sorcerer, wizard, magic user of some kind, whatever you are, don't really care at this point in time, is keep your eyes open and keep your head down and tell your non-chatty friend that I might need him later. The man kind of drops off the counter, looks back at your Uncle Maury, and, gives a warm smile with...
Oh, you're cutting out again, Tom.
Yeah, I noticed. The man drops off the counter, smiles at Maury, and then at her uncle with the coldest eyes that he can muster. Not trying to be intimidating, but just cold, dead eyes. Something you'd see in a corpse. Anyway, and then he just smiles, gives a slight nod and a bow, and then leaves. As he walks out, not in any particular direction, he does throw the other rock into the alleyway, hoping to get lucky and connect with Loki. Now, as the DM, I will say, he misses completely. He just falls short by about 2 feet.
Oh. As he walks out, I sort of slam my two swords back together, and I go to my uncle, who's visibly shaken. Like, I feel like he's fallen on his knees. Like, I'm just like, what happened? Who was that person?
I too would be most curious to learn the answer of that. Appeared to be a rather curious fellow.
One moment here,
And he
folks. Chat amongst yourselves.
We broke the thing. Can I? All right. General D&D question. Newbie time here. Can I? Is there a stat that I can roll to see what class another person is?
The best you could probably do, and ultimately, Tom is
Yeah,
God.
no-
Or,
think it
go
would
ahead.
it'd be kind of like a knowledge. Oh,
Because I have
knowledge people.
I have knowledge religion.
That wouldn't really help in that case, unless it was. You might be able to use that. You could potentially try and use that to identify a magic user. What if they serve a god of some sort, kind of based on any symbols or talismans they might have on them.
Okay.
That kind of thing. If you did well enough on a perception check or a perception and maybe a wisdom check, the way someone is dressed, or the kind of gear on them, you might be able to hazard a guess.
Could I, and this might be a DM question, could I use my profession as being a merchant, having met all sorts and kinds of people and folks, to narrow down? Or is that too much of a stretch?
That
It
also
will give
would seem
you
likely.
a definite boost, like a +1 or 2 on any knowledges you roll. But from what I'm understanding, I'm not a wireless headset. I did leave the vicinity of my computer, so it did cut out. I'm going to wager that no one has mentioned this. Knowledge Arcana will give you a very good sense of if they are a magic user. You'd have to roll pretty high to determine exactly what kind of magic they are using. Knowledge Religion will give you if you roll Knowledge Arcana and say, oh yeah, that person uses magic. Knowledge Religion, and it's like, okay, he's following one of the cleric gods. From there, you can kind of piece together, must be a cleric or a very religious sorcerer.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Got it. All right, then what I'm going to do, we're going to go in a different direction. I'm going to roll Sense Motive to see if Canary Man is malicious after hiding in the alleyway across from my uncle's shop.
Okay.
Roll bluff to oppose?
Yeah.
Or
Sure.
do I even want to oppose?
I don't know. Do you want to oppose and maybe seem like you're malicious?
So I guess the role playing of this is like, my uncle's not answering me, so I look to you and I'm like, who are you and what are you doing here?
That would be more of a intimidate check.
I'm not trying to intimidate him. I'm just trying to figure out who this person is. Because who knows? He could be a new customer.
Diplomacy? Probably.
Yeah, diplomacy would be better to get an answers
Okay.
out of Mortis.
Then let me roll diplomacy. It's all right.
Now, Mortis, this is up to you to either just let her have the pass and tell her the information, or bluff your way out of it.
Well, I stand to gain nothing by deceit. Nah. Oh. Yeah. Never mind. No. No. I'm gonna be. I'll be honest with her. Well, my name is Byron Orpheus. I am a traveling scholar who just recently arrived here into this town from a few minutes ago. And as for this very shop, I noticed there was a suspicious man back in our coach wearing burlap sacks and ropes, behaving quite oddly. And I followed him to the shop to see if he might be, or if he had any kind of nefarious plots set in motion, set upon the very winds of fate themselves. But he turned out to be the character who just walked out of the shop, and I never even got a chance to speak to him or ask for his name. Since, at least in the lands that I come from, turnabout is considered fair play, I might ask the same question of you. Who are you? And how do you know that this gentleman?
So I'm gonna sort of stand up and like try to pull my uncle up with me, so he's standing up too, and I'm gonna say, "Fair is fair. My name is Ji, and this is my uncle Han, and I am here to work in his shop."
Excellent. You say that you are here to work in the shop. I take it. I get the feeling that you yourself might be new in town as well.
Yes, I recently arrived on the 12 o'clock train, or the equivalent of 12 o'clock in this world, whatever. The high noon train. And I saw some suspicious figures sulking in the alleyway. Why were you out there? Instead of just coming into the shop?
Well, because didn't Loki and myself get to the shop with the robed guy or the sack guy there before G and the merchants carrying the bathtubs?
No, about the same time. I would say Maury's second crate was there probably about a minute before you and Loki showed up.
Cool. Well, yes, as you saw truly, I was hiding in the alleyway. As I mentioned, the gentleman wearing the sackcloth was acting in a most peculiar fashion. In my travels, I have come across a number of would-be assassins, cutthroats, those who seek to tear asunder the very fabric of reality itself.
I start rolling my eyes.
And he struck me as a bit odd. Following my hunch and the advice of my ever-faithful companion, Toby, I sought to follow him and make sure that he had no plans set in motion for this town.
Was Toby the other one in the alleyway?
I just kind of turn my head to the side, to my shoulder where Toby is perched, and I just kind of very respectable chuckle. No. I confess I do not know who that character is still skulking away in the shadows. But no, Toby is my dear friend, my shoulder. He's my one and true companion. I've known him since I was but a small child, and he has been my faithful boon and companion in travels ever since. He's a most clever bird.
Okay, so two things real quick. Loki, are you still just chilling in the shadows?
I am sneaking a little bit closer to the entrance to watch Burlap Sack Man as he
Now,
walks away,
fine
just to
clothes
pay
man.
attention. Fine clothes man. I'm going to refer to him as Burlap Sack because that's how we met him. I'm watching the direction that he is heading.
All right, well, he disappears into the crowd very, very efficiently. just kind of, disappears out of nowhere. He walks into the crowd and poof, he's just basically gone. There are a lot of people around, obviously, but he has made it clear that he does not give a flying rat's ass about you in the alley anymore, and he also does not want to be followed, so he has made it so it's difficult to follow him, I should say. And now, Mori, as you and Mortis talk, and he tells you about his fine canary friend who he's raised since he was a small child. Anyway, sorry about that snicker. I was reading something funny. Anyway, your uncle looks at you, Mori, and just kind of does something out of character, even more so than being scared, and he gives you a hug.
This is definitely something I'm not used to, because I'm a half-breed, like I'm the bastard child of my family, and the audience watching would be able to tell this because I'm a half-elf, so I still have the elf ears, and I'm slightly taller than a human, and my Uncle Han is a pure human, so he's a short, like, squat guy, and I'm not used to, like, physical affection from my family because I'm usually the outcast. So I kind of just look at him and I'm like, I pat him on the back. I'm like, would you like some tea? Should I make some tea? Are you okay? And then I look over to Byron and I'm like, I'm gonna make some tea. So I kind of walk to a little kitchen area in the back and start heating up some water.
Okay. Sorry, I was checking something. As you walk into the back to make some tea, your uncle is reluctant to let you go, but he obviously does. And he kind of looks over at you, Mortis. That bird better not poop on anything, or I'll be having canary stew for dinner.
I yell from the back, don't you dare hurt the bird.
I assure you, my fine fellow, Toby has quite a keen, razor-sharp mind, and he is just to stoop to such a low carnal behavior. And he even... Well... I think it might end worse for you than it would for him. Quite sharp. And I let out a very wink. But tell me, the gentleman who just left seemed as if you clearly knew him, and yet his very presence seemed to keep level. Tell me, who is this man?
Somebody you do not want to cross. Ever.
Well, that's a nice, vaguely terrifying answer.
The last time someone crossed him. Well, have you ever heard of the town... Oh, fuck. Hold on. Need to find a paper.
God, I thought I was ill-prepared for tonight.
Oh, no.
So as my uncle starts telling the story, I walk back with the tea and I set it on the counter.
He obviously pauses to take a drink.
After receiving the cup of tea, stare to Ji's eyes, looking for any hint of possibility that she might be trying to
Kill
put
you?
something in the drink.
Trust me, she's trying to kill you already. I would be very
I-
impressed.
No. I take a sip. It hasn't been poured yet, so I'll pour it from the same thing and take a sip myself, just to show you that it's fine.
Okay.
Or at least it's fine for me.
Sorry. Anyway. So as your uncle, just downs this entire glass of tea in one gulp, mind you. Getting a drink myself, sorry. He looks back at Mortis to finish the story, and he's like, have you heard of the town that was, I'd say about 20 miles east called Ergberg?
Say that again?
The town, Ergberg, 20 miles east. Have you heard of it?
Not spent much time in these lands until quite recently. I have not heard of it. Tell me. Sense a tale.
Well, it used to be very prosperous. A very, not luxurious town, I will say, but for the right kind of folk, it was very profitable. You could line your pockets there and be set for at least a year or two of your life, if you made it that long. I will say this, it is now a crater. So, yeah, if you cross that man, expect something like that.
That is a good warning to know about. Do you know? He mentioned that there might be something assistance with, and he seemed curious in the fact that perceptive of some of the rather, shall we say, emaciated look of the people around this town.
I raise my eyebrow at this because everybody in this town looks healthy. It looks like a thriving town, at least to me. I also start feeding the bird bread.
You are welcome to attempt to.
Okay, what do I have to roll to feed the bird bread? That was a serious. Is it acrobatics? Do I have to I don't know, do something crazy? Ooh, how about handle animal? Oh, that has to be a trained skill though. All right, let me. No problem. $15's not too bad. The bird eats it, right? Or I get to feed it to the bird.
We will see.
Is it generally? Here we go to noob D&D time.
No, these are good questions to ask.
Because it's been a hot minute. Like I said, 15 years ago. If it's 10 and above, it succeeds, and if it's 9 and below, it fails.
Not necessarily. So kind of the threshold for every action is depending on what it is. For something like when
I was gonna say, for most general things that don't require a roll, it's going to be 10 or 15.
Yeah.
There'll be some things, such as I could see, for example, avoiding having your finger bitten by a bird. that could be a 15 because you're so up close and you're not expecting it. That would be a 15. If it's a reflex like what me and Mortis had in order to avoid being hit by something, you have to save against the attack throw.
Got it. So it's pretty likely I was able to feed the bird.
We'll see
Defeat
what God
Toby.
says.
Little Toby. Oh, he's
I'd
so
say-
cute. He's
I'd
a
say
cute little
you're
body
honestly-
boy. Whoa.
Okay, chat. Should Maury feed the bird? Go.
Mortis, did you get the message?
The mentor admin chat stuff?
No. Check D&D.
Oh, don't you dare. I'm saying that on
No,
behalf
I
of my...
I just would have laughed if that had been something that happened while you were in the middle of your monologue to the uncle.
I mean, knowing Toby, it might be very well within his within him to want to do that purely out of spite.
I feed Toby ghost pepper salsa.
Okay. A.
What is wrong with you?
I want him to poop on Mortis. Or Byron, rather.
That'd be hilarious. But anyway.
Anyways, I just tried to feed him some bread. I wanted to feed the cute little birdie Toby some bread. And I rolled a 15.
Okay, well. Toby does take the bread, and he eats it, very hungrily, like Mortis hasn't fed him in about 3 weeks. Not saying you haven't, I'm just saying that's how he's eating. But he also does, after, finishing his meal, spreads his wings, and then tries to make a dive bomb with your head roll. Not a dive bomb, a jump. Kind of dive at you. But you're very used to people throwing shit at you because you are, like you said, the halfling of your family. So you do manage to move your head just enough that he doesn't hit you, and then, kind of swoops back and lands on Mortis' shoulder.
All right. So while that's happening, I kind of give the bird a sideways glance, and I say, "So, Uncle Hun, why was he here? What do you have to do with him?"
Your uncle just kind of shrugs. I have nothing to do with him. I mean, he comes in occasionally and he'll buy wares, random assortment of things, and then he leaves. We've never, other than, the polite chit-chat I give all of my clientele, we've not spoken.
What kind of wares does he typically find himself interested in?
Trinkets, watches, I sell a variety of things. The most extravagant thing he's ever bought is actually one of your portable bathtubs that you brought. Why are you being such a piece of shit?
A
Portable bathtub.
You say. See.
My Aunt Lee makes the best bathtubs out of some sheepskin and some bamboo out in the north. They are the finest portable bathtub you will ever have, sir.
I'm sure they are.
But yes, other than what he said to your new acquaintance here, I've never had any contact with him outside of the chit chat, and I have no idea what he was referring to with. What the fuck? Hold on, technical issues. Okay.
My uncle starts having a stroke.
Stop breaking things.
Yeah, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
other than what he asked your friend here, which, by the way, I am like you, my niece. I'm not sure what he meant by people looking thin. Care to explain?
Are you speaking to me?
Who else would I be speaking to?
Seem to be referring to your niece. I must have misheard.
And I just reiterate the question. So tell me about these thin men that you've seen around town.
Taking a look real quick at Han and She, do they both look normal, or are they also spooky looking?
Han looks... meh. You can slightly see through his bicep. But Mori looks perfectly normal. I said you can slightly see through Han's bicep.
And then what about She?
Mori looks perfectly... What the
Tom?
You're cutting in and out.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Hold on.
You killed Tom.
Yeah, probably. Anyway. No, Mori looks perfectly normal.
I'm assuming you said that she looks perfectly fine?
Of course I look perfectly fine.
Or perfectly transparent? Perfectly something. I'm gonna go with perfectly transparent.
Perfectly fine, you fucker. Why is this thing cutting out so damn much?
Should have made a higher roll on a...
Yeah, keep talking shit to your DM. You'll see what happens. You won't make it to level 3.
If I roll.
Anyway, if you roll what?
No, I'm just trying to think. I don't think my profession is going to help us out here any.
No.
Of like trying to figure out. You just bought trinkets.
Yeah, I mean, little odds and ends. Nothing that would give away whatever he's doing, if he's doing anything.
Did we get an answer if I'm transparent or
Oh yeah.
not?
Is she perfectly fine or
Oh
perfectly
no, she's perfectly fine.
Okay.
I was hoping she was invisible.
Then you'd be dead.
Be really useful.
She's a figment of your imagination. Or she looks like Crota.
Oh. She very well could. Everything could all be a figment of my imagination. Anyway, these trinkets, the watches and things, you wouldn't happen to have identical models or extra pieces for which I might be able to inspect, would you?
Other than the portable bathtubs that just came in, no. Usually most of what I sell is one of a kind, and that's about it.
Would you happen to know if they might be magical in nature?
I don't deal with magic. It leads to bad things.
And I'm nodding at this.
I just kind of not very subtle shudder, and my eyes kind of 1,000-yard stare a little bit. Yes, magic can lead to quite disastrous and sundering consequences. As our mysterious friend appears to have also noticed, there appears to be a bit of gauntness about the people of this town. I've noticed that appear to be somewhat transparent, as if their very flesh were invisible to the naked eye. Be able to see straight through them as if they were no more than a pane of looking glass itself.
I hit him in the head with
Not my
my
travels, I have-
quarterstaff. Try to knock some sense into him. Like, what in the world are you talking about? Transparent.
Dodge that?
Reflex.
Reflex or AC?
Reflex.
Non-lethal blow.
Do I roll anything for that?
Roll to hit.
Hold on.
Roll an attack.
Hold on.
Roll an-
D20 tutorial. Where do I do that?
Okay.
If you're using a
You'll
weapon
click
to
on
attack
your
with,
thing. Yes. Or are you going to use your staff or going to just,
It is a, so I ended up buying a double walking stick katana, which is 2 katanas, but you can slide them together to become like a 3/4 length quarterstaff. So I'm hitting him with like one of the hilts, which is like in quarterstaff form. So it's 2 weapons in one. So I don't know what to roll for that.
not seeing your weapons on here at all, so I'm not sure either.
You roll a 1d20, add your attack bonus.
plus strength mod.
Yep.
So plus my attack bonus, which is 1, so it's an 8, plus my strength mod is 12 total.
Oh yeah, you smacked him right upside the head.
I'm writing a note to fix my character sheet for weapons for next time.
You made sure to put in your strength mod, not the raw strength
Yeah.
value. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
my modifier is 4.
Yeah, but I figured that sounded about right.
I mean, unless you wanted to get hit with like a mod of 19, then that's a whole different story. So I hit him upside the head. I'm like, what is wrong? What drugs are you taking? Who is transparent here?
Just kind of like my head still kind of after the small shock. I look over and I say, well, for starters, your uncle's arm. I point.
And I look at his arm. Do I roll perception to see if I see what he's looking at, or does it seem
Nope.
fine to me?
It seems normal.
I touch my uncle's arm where Byron is pointing.
Okay, it's solid.
And I look at him like, are you talking about this right here? This is fine. Are you okay?
Well, that is a very loaded question if there ever were one. But things in this world are not always quite as they seem. There are undercurrents, other planes of existence beyond what the normal mortal eye is capable of gazing upon. My travels and in my training, I have gained some modicum of skill into seeing into things beyond the pale of normal mortal eyesight. Tell you this, there is something amiss about this town. There are forces at work here beyond our comprehension. I can feel it.
I'm rolling my eyes again, and I'm like, you know what you sound like? You sound like a traveling minstrel. Like you're spinning these tales of grandeur and saving the world and invisible people, and it's just I really think something's wrong with you. I think you need help. Let me get you help. And I start walking towards the door to go into like the family area because I'm gonna go try to find my aunt.
My good women, I appreciate your note of concern. I do not know if there's a healer upon any of the 19 universes within this celestial sphere that might be able to provide balm and assuagement to my troubled mind. I had a rather troubled childhood, you could say.
I just keep walking. Oh gosh, and I'm trying to come back with my aunt, who like knows everything about everyone. She's like the nosy neighbor that everybody hates. Her name's Lee. So I've come back and I'm like, this is my Aunt Lee. She's going to help take you somewhere so you will be safe and okay. Because I'm thinking this guy is mentally insane. I don't think he actually knows how to use magic. And I think he has a pet bird called Toby. So I'm trying to get my aunt to take him to the monastery that's in our little neighborhood, to like take him to a priest to see if he's okay.
Oh, well, Mortis.
Mm-hmm.
So true, Loki. Anyway. Mortis, as the ant walks out, you notice she is pretty much just a skeleton walking. Okay, fuck this mic. She is just a skeleton walking. Like, no skin, no muscle, no sinew, no organs. She's just a skeleton.
As I see her, I hold out a finger and I cry out, "Toby! Come! And once more!"
I'm going to attempt to restrain him. I'm assuming in a merchant's place there's like some rope nearby. I'm going to try to tie him up with rope.
There's plenty of rope, and that will be your CMB versus his CMD. Damn it. Okay, Maury, you're going to roll your CMB. Mortis, you'll roll your CMD.
You are breaking up really
Yeah,
bad.
I know.
It's Maury's CMB
Yeah.
against Mortis's CMD.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
And actually, I'm not sure if...
I don't think it's
That would be
calculated correctly. First of all, I don't know how this is calculated.
Yours
So
is fine.
CMB,
Yeah.
CMB is base attack bonus plus strength mod.
Plus my size, which is nothing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
Alright.
So your CMB should theoretically be 1.
Mine's 5. Because my strength mod is 4.
Yeah.
So I do terribly.
15.
Great.
Mine doesn't let me. CMD.
What is the number?
It's
Yeah.
it's. Pain, so D20 plus.
No, just what is
Oh no,
the
yeah,
number?
it's just the raw number. Yeah, it's 14.
Yeah, there's no way, because your base on this is a 10, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to. So I'm gonna try to like quickly wrap you around with rope.
Basically, Mortis, you're having none of this.
Nope. I'm going to just totally drop out and scuttle around the ropes.
Oh, that's the wrong person. That's What are you-
And
I'm trying to figure out what Loki's rolling for, but we'll see in a second, I guess.
He is sneaking closer to the shop to kind of
Oh,
listen
okay.
into everything.
after evading being hogtied, or generally bound and restrained, step back, and I say, "Young lady, I assure you, there are many troubling things in this world. While my own past has left me a bit overcautious of things in the arcane variety, I assure you that I am perfectly right in the mind. There is something amiss in this town. I have not a tiny bit of skill in the arts myself. If you would, I would take a look at your aunt. What might be wrong with her?"
Don't you dare touch her. And at this point, I drop the rope and I grab my my quarterstaff, my katanas.
I just put my hands up in the air, unthreatening way possible.
I think, sir, it's time for you to leave. And I start trying to herd him out the door with the staff.
Young lady, I implore you. I mean no harm to you or anyone in your household. I merely am seeking to understand what blight might be coming across this town. All I ask, since no one else here appears to be able to observe whatever foul works are afoot, all I ask is the opportunity to examine your kith and kin and to seek to understand what might be causing this affliction, that I might be able to hopefully reverse it.
Do not touch my family.
Roll diplomacy?
Me or you?
Mortis will roll diplomacy. Mori, you will sense motive. Or Mori, sense motive.
Boom.
Damn,
Get out my house, Byron. Get out. Leave. Do I get anything for getting a crit on this? More than just like I just win the encounter.
You win the encounter pretty massively.
So I guess while Byron, while you're talking, if you're okay with this, I'm just like shoving you out the door by like tapping on your knees and like your shins with the quarterstaff, as like you would like try to like sweep out a rat. Like that's kind of like the motion that I'm doing. And I'm just like, leave. If you want to test someone, test the urchins. No one cares for them anyway.
Oh, it's so fucked up, Mori.
Damn.
I love your character.
I know I gotta change something out there based on the way that this has been playing, but that's...
Since she did so well on the sense motive, she should be able to tell that I am being honest.
Oh yeah, Mortis is not lying to you whatsoever.
I understand that.
She
But-
just doesn't care.
Ain't no magic touching my family, because that's what messed things up in the first place. I have daddy issues, guys. Magic was involved. It's not happening. He is getting out of my house.
Well,
He's
it's
leaving.
not your house, so
It's my uncle's house. You get out.
oh, So anyway, Loki, are you going to make yourself known to these fuckers, or are you still just kind of chilling?
I'm still chilling. If everything looks normal to me, I'm questioning what in the world happened in there.
Can I just like back Byron out like the door and have him like trip over Loki?
That depends on where Loki is.
I'm near the corner of the building by the large observation window.
I mean, if you want, you can throw him out the window.
Glass is expensive. Let's be reasonable. It's like 10 urchins. It's the
Damn. Oh.
Okay. After the stream, Maury, you and I are having a talk.
about urchins?
About alignment?
I
About a
changed
lot
it.
Of things.
I changed it. I changed my alignment.
Wasn't even going to talk to you
Going
about
to-
that, but okay.
I'm just going to kind of let out an exasperated sigh and just say, well, really not wanted here. I will take my leave. But if you change your mind, I will be staying at a nearby inn in case you decide assistance. I bid you all a good day and safe day.
In the middle of his talking, I like slam the door and it does one of those comical, like the open close sign, like flips to closed. And I just go back to like check in on my uncle and like bring him to like the back family area to like calm him down some more.
Oh no, your uncle's perfectly calm now. He's actually laughing hysterically at this.
Oh, good. And then we're gonna go grab some beer, cause I need one after that long trip. I need beer, bath, meditation. Those are my 3 things that I want.
And apparently a couple orphans.
What? Someone's got to scrub my back. Come on now.
Loki, Mortis, Perception.
On it.
Oh,
Okay, so Mortis and Loki, you two hear from down the street about 4 or 5 houses, or not, buildings down. There is a very large inn. It's got a tavern on the bottom floor. It's very nice. You hear shouting, more shouting. Something sounds broken, and then you actually hear and see one of the windows on the upper floor breaks out, and then a very, very pissed off looking dwarf
A
is
dwarf, you said?
a dwarf
Mhm.
has been thrown out the window and is now laying on the ground bloody and bruised.
Do I see Loki's character?
I am running over towards the inn and scaling the exterior using windowsills and slightly protruding rocks to look in through the second floor.
Acrobatics.
Actually, be a climb.
Roll. Sorry, I was picking something up. Okay. Yep, you're Mortis. You see him kind of clumsily and in a very, very rushed manner. You see Loki's character scaling up windows and shit
Mm-hmm.
and peeking into the second floor. Now, Mortis, are you going over to the dwarf, or are you just gonna kind of stand there and watch?
No, I'm going to go run over, and the dwarf is still alive, and then try and figure out. But I'm going to approach. I'm going to approach quickly, but also cautiously. Like I'm looking around to try and see what the source of the commotion is, looking for a possible sign of danger.
Oh, there's no danger other than the cup that comes flying out the window. And Loki, you didn't have to roll that at all. I was going to explain what you saw. There are 2 more dwarfs wearing plate armor and carrying swords, kind of standing off with these 2 humans. One wearing, heavy plate, looks like he could be an adventurer, town guard, you never know.
Okay.
Time real quick. Chat, you are strange. Untime. Anyway, so the other human actually is wearing, robes, not like fancy or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he is actually carrying a very well-known religious symbol around his neck. And Loki, from what you can tell, they look very mad at each other. Mortis, the dude on the ground, is bleeding out at your feet. Loki, are you just gonna chill on the window like Spider-Man and watch, or?
I'm chilling. No, I'm going in. I'm going to roll diplomacy and try to talk them down. Whoa.
The religious man kind of cares what you're saying. By the way, the windows are sealed shut, so the only way to get in is to break them. So basically right now, what you see, Mortis, is Loki's character is holding the outside of this window, kind of knocking on it to get their attention, and then yelling at them, trying to get them to calm down.
I'm about to break a window. That's good. I break a window. I'm going in.
That window
Okay.
was 6 urchins.
Roll a strength check. Yeah, okay. I'll give it to you. You break the window. Now roll me a reflex. Okay, yeah, you're fine. You actually managed to break the window and not lose your balance and climb in. But you also hear town guards. Like, they are making their way to you very quickly. Mortis, you are standing by the dead body in the middle of a crime scene. So, what you want to do about that, bud? You're just going to stand there, or you're going to try to book it?
The religious man and the 2 dwarves, they're inside the inn still?
Yes.
You said? What are they currently doing? Are they still just chilling inside?
They are ready to kill each other. They're kind of screaming. You can hear them yelling at each other from outside.
Okay. It's the 2 dwarves squared off against the religious man.
And a human.
Okay. You mentioned that the religious symbol that he has is well known. Do I recognize it?
Well, if you were on the second floor, yes. But you
Okay.
are currently, I'm assuming, still outside with the dead body now.
Yep.
Okay. Loki, you
Well-
would probably recognize it.
If I had knowledge of religion, yes, I would. Not a class skill.
I'll take a look in a minute. All right. Well, in that case, I am going to run inside. As I do, I am going to conjure spectral flames around my hands and raise them up above my head and voice to the dwarves and then the two men. And I call out to them and I say, "All right, this is how this is going to go down. On their way, there's a dead body in the street, and I see the four of you lot fighting with each other. I'm a lot less hasty to judge and to make a quick chop with my axe or my sword than those guards might be. So someone here better lay down their arms and tell me what's going on here before things get a lot more confusing."
Okay, well,
Wizard, shut the hell up. I don't think threats are gonna get us very far today.
I was rolling for diplomacy. Fuck it up.
okay, well, this is actually going to be about the best stopping point in this story that we have right now. So I will say this, though. As Mortis, you roll your diplomacy. It kind of works. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But the town's guards, 4 of them, 2 orcs, like full-blooded, mean-looking motherfuckers, 1 halfling, don't ask how he got this position, and a human all come rushing up the stairs, swords drawn, and for some reason, your flames go out. So, yeah, you're noticing that your magic is kind of not working anymore, and they look at all of you until the orc speaks very loudly and very commanding. You're all under arrest. Get on your knees. So, I will make a quick note of... You guys are in the process. I'm not going to say you're arrested yet. You still have a chance to flee if you want, but we'll get to that next week.
Rip.
I'm going to make a quick note that this is where we're stopping. I'm going to shoot for next Wednesday around the same time for our next session. Does that work with you fine folk?
Fine by me.
This
Will,
is senor.
Will Sinfril and Golden be unavailable at this time every week?
Sin about every other week, and Golden, yes.
If it is, and we can talk more about this off.
Obviously, off stream, we'll
Twitch.
talk more about what's going
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Yeah, this time works fine for me next week.
Yeah, and we could do an every other week thing too.
Yeah,
If
okay,
that
well,
ends up working, we'll see. We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
I will need all of you to just kind of chill and chat for a few moments. I'm going to say goodbye to my stream and then use the restroom, and then I'll catch you guys here in just a few minutes. Okay, stream. We're gonna do that. Anyway. Shay, I knew you'd show up. You're one of my, well, the only common viewer at all times. Loki is just an asshole, and whatever, forget him. Anyway, Sanders, it was great seeing you, man. I'm hoping you're doing okay. I hope to see all of you next time for the exciting adventures of these people. And I hope you're enjoying the show. I promise next week's going to be better. And yeah, we'll get all this worked out. I'm going to, between now and then, find out what's wrong with this mic, because it likes to cut out on me a lot. But anyway, it's been great, guys. Thank you for showing up. I hope you liked this. And I will catch you all next time. I'm going to try to be live again. I want to say tomorrow night, possibly after I get off work. We'll see what's going on. But that'll just be, my stream doing whatever the fuck I feel like doing. Anyway, I hope to catch you guys later. Have a great night, and this will be going up on YouTube at some point soon. Anyway, love you guys. Bye-bye.